This is Minecraft's biggest escape room. It took the creator several months to prepare, build, plan, and game test this escape room, and it might be my hardest challenge yet. All of those claims, except maybe the last one, are of course a bit exaggerated. Of course, it's not the biggest ever made, and it only took him about a month, maybe 2. But what does make this one so intense is that it is a best out of 5. This is number 4 of a best out of 5 challenge we have, and if I win 3 of the 5 escape rooms, I will win the whole challenge. Now, if you want to see what the score is looking like so far, then watch the other videos. I don't want to spoil it for you. The moment I spawned into the room, it was just the same as always. Noob had said that he'd fixed the other escape rooms, and so I mined the campfire, the signs, and the buttons, and was about to go, but then the button didn't work. Noob was just as confused as I was, so he let me go into spectator mode, and he told me the exact coordinates of where to spawn. But when I went into spectator mode, what?
That's why I needed.
What? This is so scary. I built the mini model, and it's pretty big, even though it's like a billion times smaller than the normal one. Anyway, after pressing the button, I was finally in the escape room, and I immediately spawned in a cauldron and noticed a hole above me. I also noticed some clickbait bedrock, and behind it was an oak plank. I also noticed some of the cauldrons were hoppers, and I pulled out some oak planks from one, and I put them into another that appeared to be empty, but it wasn't actually empty. It was full of light gray stained glass, the invisible item, and I immediately blundered it by placing it down and then breaking it, an item I would never get back. In these escape rooms, as you might know, then I have 3 resets, and I used my first one. I'd have to be more careful from now on. Anyways, I mined up that piece of wood, and I mined every single cauldron and hopper to see what was underneath them, and I used my wood to peek into the next room. Underneath another cauldron, there was a hopper with some more wood, and under some clickbait bedrock, there was the final piece. I used my wood and my bed to just barely get into the room. I used my wood because I could always mine it up afterwards, as opposed to the glass. Now, on to the next room. And the next room was hard. After searching for a while, I did find a little bit of sand in a dispenser, but after wasting all my signs trying to get through the lava, before finding out if I'd just placed the signs 1 block higher, I could have, then I disconnect clutched a whole ton and swam around in a lava for a while. Eventually, I had to ask Noob for a little bit of help, and he told me that there were a few things at the side walls. I told him that was cap, but I knew it was true. He designed the room. After I got the bread and apparently lingering potions, it was time to leave the room. I mined up the wood and replaced it with the stained glass, as it didn't appear to be of any use. Noob told me it wouldn't be. And in the next room, I found out that ice was actually packed ice. But I knew that Noob was gonna sneak some real ice in there, which mines really quickly, so I'd have to be very careful. I opened F3 and checked every single block I mined. That ended up being a terrible idea because there were dozens of ice blocks I mined for so long. And then there were netherite blocks. So I used F3 and T, which makes it so then your mouse still holds down even if you're not touching the mouse. And I watched some YouTube videos while I mined through it. After I finally got through all that netherite, then I went through the tunnel that it revealed, and there was an item frame with an ender pearl in it. I punched it, not knowing that apparently when item frames are on the ceiling of something, then the item frame itself and the item will teleport above the roof. Noob told me that I had 5 minutes to find it before the item disappeared. I was so nervous. I didn't see anything in the other rooms. He told me I might not be able to make it, but then I realized that I'd done things in the opposite order than Noob had expected, and that area was already there. So I got the ender pearl pretty quickly. It was pretty obvious where I was supposed to ender pearl, but just to make sure that I didn't mess up this one chance, I went into my test world and practiced it a bit, and I could not get it. I experimented with the cactus, with the glass pads, and all sorts of stuff. But then I realized, notice anything special about this roof? That's right, there's water droplets coming from it, meaning that there's water above me. I tested it with water in the visual world, and sure enough, that made it super easy to get up there. So with 1 ender pearl in hand, I did it, this time for all the marbles. This single ender pearl shot could decide if I win or lose the escape room. I threw it, And it worked! This next room was pretty nice looking. The next parts of the escape room are pretty boring. I just collected all the materials from the room and used them to go through a bunch of corridors. There was one moment, however, when I realized that I could use glowberries to climb up the long vertical corridors of places. But besides that, it was just a lot of going through corridors. There was a pretty interesting room, however, that had a lot of drip leaves in it. I collected another piece of cobblestone, which I realized there was a lot of. And I pulled a pretty clever move, I might say, where I mined all the drip leaves, but then kept the last one and pillared up with it. Pretty cool puzzle, I'd say. And then I found a sign that not a new bid place that said that one sure had its ups and downs. I then came to a spot that had a classic get into crawl mode puzzle, but the drip leaves that I had, which I immediately thought of, I was not able to use because I couldn't even get into crawl mode with those because of the short ceiling. I thought and I tested and I tested in the test world, but I couldn't think of anything, so I decided to craft my planks into a crafting table and use the cobblestone to make stairs and use the stair method to do it. And I got past. Not a noob actually told me that he was expecting me to use the gate method, which I didn't know about until he explained it to me. I realized that he was right. That would have been way more efficient, but I'd already done this one. Hopefully it wouldn't come up later in the room. Little did I know it, but this next room was gonna be the most intense yet. I mined a block, and underneath it was what I thought looked like a skeleton, but it was really just an armor stand. After I found out it was an armor stand and got an axe, then I mined the trapdoors, and behind them was a villager named a noob 78. I tried trading with it, but it didn't work. I tried punching it, and that's when Not a Noob revealed to me that he had accidentally made the villager invincible and decided to keep it in to be funny. That was all well and good, but then this next room had nothing. I looked all around it and I was really confused, and Not a Noob seemed as well. It turns out that this room broke. He had put water and stuff in it, and it just didn't work. I asked him what that meant for me, and he said that I might have to reset the entire escape room, giving myself a water bucket, keeping that as the second restart. The reason why it'd be a restart and not on his bad is because he said that he did put a few backups in the room just in case something like that happened, but I didn't get any of them, and I'd already ender pearled to the other side and wouldn't be able to go to them. As we had to end recording sessions for that day, Not a Noob later told me a great idea. I had a bunch of bamboo, didn't I? I could use that bamboo to craft planks and to craft a bamboo raft, which I could use to clip into the ceiling. Then Not a Noob forgot that he had told me this somehow, and I passed the idea off as my own. With a fresh mind, a few days later, I got to work. I made a little bamboo farm with a bunch of dirt and bamboo and waited forever watching it grow. But it wasn't that bad. I got to watch some cool YouTube videos. If you're ever in a situation like that, might I suggest you watch, I don't know, maybe one of Awesome Player 98's videos? Just an idea. Also, Future 98 here, in pajamas. I'm actually streaming every Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time, so make sure to watch my live stream. It really helps me out a whole lot. Thank you so much. Now enjoy the rest of the video. It gets pretty crazy. After finally getting all the pieces of bamboo, I crafted it into a raft, mined up the rest of the bamboo, and waited for this last piece to grow. And when it finally did, and I was at the ceiling, then I used the boat to clip through the ceiling and into the next room. In the next room, then there was a chest boat, which I just mined without looking to see what was inside. I really should have, but it didn't really matter because I got it anyway. And just around the corner was the biggest room ever. It was full of lava, and it was where that strider noise was coming from. Before going in there though, I noticed one last room which had a bunch of anvils, so I really slowly mined one by hand, but placed a button right where they were falling so then all of them would get destroyed, and so I'd be able to collect them. Now there was a huge space above it and quite a bit of anvils below as well, and I knew that there might be something hidden under there, but I decided to check it out later. I was not gonna mine all those anvils right now, so I decided to go to the lava room. I set my spawn point with my bed just in case something went wrong, which I knew that it would, and I threw all my items on the ground so I could explore this place. Somehow, somewhere, I got a blue shulker box. Must have been from the anvil thing, and I checked inside of it and there was a bunch of ladders spelling the word hi. I knew that they might come in handy, but just because it was spelled in the way hi, then I had a feeling that maybe the specific amount wasn't specific. Looking around, I immediately noticed an end portal. I had to find Eyes of Ender to fill an end portal, in which I would go to the end, and either that would mean that I won the escape room, or that there's more in the escape room. So I jumped in and started disconnect clutching. And inside the end portal, there were signs that say, want your stuff? Power for the rest of the room? Daunting. It might mean that I might not be able to take all my items through. Anyway, there was a lot to do in this room, so cue the montage. Hello? That didn't
Hello?
work. Okay. Hi, night. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hi, not a noob. Yep, this escape room you've made for me is really challenging. Yeah, I'm so mad about your knowledge of all the Minecraft stuff. You know what?
Okay.
You know what? Why don't I just share my screen, okay?
Nah,
The end. I'm gonna
wait a
stop
second.
screen sharing through you.
Wait, where'd the rest of the end go? I had a box in there.
So I think that you forgot that each time that you go through here, then it replaces air. I have out escape
Well-
roomed you. And if I fall into the void here, speed bridge. Okay, I'm not gonna speed bridge.
Yeah, if you don't be the dragon, then I win. Originally, there was a bedrock box here saying, haha, you fell into my trap, you missed the exit.
Oh! Here, let's leave it up to a
What?
good luck MLG. Oh, if I can make this MLG, then that means that I win. Oh, amazing.
You need to make it out of the room. You need to completely exit. The end was part of this the entire time.
Oh, easy. You are the
Shoot.
player. Wake up. Wait, you could go upwards slightly. If you hold the up arrow in the end poem, then it slow as heck goes up. Okay.
Oh, I also forgot I killed the dragon.
Oh, wait a second. I had a bed.
Yeah, and if you
And I'm outside. And I get to literally...
congratulations. I don't need to build the 5th escape room. I'm kind of relieved
get to,
about
you mean?
this.
So, the final verdict is you have to bake me 24 cookies and bring them to my house by midnight on Tuesday.
That I could